Thank you, Praveen. Good afternoon to all of you. Before I start, I would like to introduce my head of department, Professor Richard Liu, to welcome all of you. Professor Richard Liu, please.
Hi, welcome all to NUS Open House. My name is Richard Liu. I'm the head of the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. I'm also a registered professional engineer in Singapore. My colleague and I are excited to share the new curriculum in civil engineering. Our curriculum is offering a hyper-flexible program, paving way for emerging subject combinations. Our program is quite unique, and you may not be readily offered by similar departments in other universities. Students can choose to specialize and go deep into certain topics and eventually register as a professional engineers, or they can choose to go broad in engineering by taking a second majors or minors, solving complex engineering problems, and therefore make them more employable. I'm sure you're aware of Industry 4.0 transformations, how digital technologies and data are increasingly shaping the way infrastructure environment is being built and designed. Our department is offering very attractive program to equip our students with the skill to integrate digital technologies to design, plan, and manage smart and sustainable cities. With this note, I call upon Professor Pang Sitai, our Deputy Head of Academy, to share our exciting program in civil engineering with you.
Thank you, Professor Liu. Let me share with you on civil engineering. We do have quite a number of exciting things coming out for this incoming cohort. So first, what is civil engineering? Civil engineers plan, design, create, manage a livable city around us. For example, the iconic structures that define our identity, smart infrastructures that connect us, nature-based solutions for built environment that address the issue of climate change, technological solutions that ensure our island's survival, and green solutions that reduce waste and carbon footprints for sustainability. So why choose NUS Civil Engineering? We have been consistently ranked very high, and as recent as 2019, we are ranked number 2 in QS ranking. And since 2015 till now, we have been ranked number 1 in QS ranking for civil and structural engineering. Industry values our graduates. Students have often asked, what's the difference between NUS graduates compared to other graduates? And is NUS graduates more theory-based? From here, you can see that industry value the training of NUS graduates. Below is the statistics that was published only last week. So for NUS in 2020, you can see that our gross monthly salary for the mean or the 75th percentile, we are a few $100s more than our peers from other universities. We provide the best civil engineering training to produce the best consulting engineer. And this is consistently achieved through the years, ever since it started in 2013, when the Association of Consulting Engineers, which is a very prestigious award given out for the best consulting engineer of the year, we have been consistently having our graduates being in the top in Singapore. And you have probably heard from the Dean's presentation this morning, there's an exciting curriculum coming out. We have a new transformative curriculum, which is a truly multidisciplinary education infused with 21st century skills. Let me just briefly bring you through what that means. We have the common curriculum that will future-proof our graduates with 21st century skills. We have enhanced training for our graduates to be industry ready. We have revamped our major to position our graduates as future built environment leaders. And we have created a hyper-flexible curriculum that allows our students to pursue double majors and become one of the kind multidisciplinary engineers to solve 21st century complex problems. And what are the highlights that arise from this hyper-flexible curriculum? We will be the only university in Singapore that offers civil engineering and architecture double degree program. NUS is the only university that offers both civil engineering and also architecture degrees. And we are looking into having a pathway that students can get both degrees in about 4.5 years. Why do we want to create such a synergy between both? I'll give you examples of two well-renowned innovators who have both civil engineering and architecture training. One is Santiago and the other is Peter. And you have probably recognized some of the very iconic structures they are built around the world due to the fact that they are both trained in civil engineering and architecture. And the industry do values engineers, civil engineers who are able to look at problems from both sides, from the engineering and also from more of the design in architecture. And with the new hyper-flexible curriculum, for a student in civil engineer who major in civil engineering, they can take majors in other disciplines. For example, mechanical engineering or electrical engineering, and they can take this major with their unrestricted elective space. That means they can complete their double degree or double major within 4 years without overloading if they're planning well, and they could potentially qualify for 2 professional license. So it could be a professional license in civil and another professional license in mechanical or electrical engineering. Currently, you do not find such engineers, but we do foresee that with the automation and digitization of the built environment, we need such engineers. And since last year, we have carved out curated a program, a specialization in digital urban infrastructure. We have seen digitization happening all around us. It's a key transformation area, and it has been highlighted or has been earmarked by BCA, the Building Construction Authority, that integrated digital delivery will be one of the main pillars for the built environment moving forward. So there will be a high demand for such civil engineer, and it will be a high growth area for entrepreneurs in this field. So with this specialization, students will experience cutting edge digital design and management and transform civil engineering with computational and digital technologies. And you can see that students are not only learning through the lectures and tutorials, we have students who are learning through games. And below are some of the examples. And you'll see that in NUS, there will be a good mixtures of projects, hands-on experience, and on top of the lectures, tutorials, and also industrial engagement. Beyond that, we have also find pairings of the programs which will have a good fit for students in civil engineering. So to create new breeds of civil engineers to lead in the built environment, examples students can have a civil engineering major, and they can partner with get a minor in infrastructure, finance, and management, which is rather popular, or a major in project management. They can use the unrestricted space to fulfill all this without overloading their curriculum. Or civil engineering with a minor in urban studies and or minor in architecture studies. With the curriculum space that students have in the unrestricted space, they could actually take double minors. Or civil engineering with minor in geosciences or in environmental engineering, or major in sustainable urban development. We do foresee with the green plan that Singapore rolls out, there will be a demand for civil engineers with knowledge in both built and natural environment to build a sustainable future. So this will be a summary of some of the combination that students can have This is not limited to this list. There are many others where students have a major pairing or even double degree. Beyond the academic aspects, students actually are engaged, is a enriching experience that goes beyond the academic aspects. Our students, for example, they take part in the international building design competition, and due to the fact that we have both civil engineering and architecture within NUS, we are able to bring both students from both sides together, and they will enrich each other in their learning, and the mentors from both sides coming together, and this is shown in the result that has been achieved in 2020. The students won the Innovation Award, second prize, and 2 merit awards in the competition. There are a number of global exchange opportunities. There's a student exchange program. There's the global exchange program in the overseas college program, where students can have experience in the entrepreneur aspects. And our students, we do support ground initiative by the students. For civil engineering, our students put what they learn into use, and you will see over here, this is something that's gone on for 2 decades, where is a ground initiative where students go to overseas countries to make use of what they learn to create sustainable development. So this is something being put into use or into practice based on what they learn, and they have been winning awards in the universities for the past 2 decades. We also do have modules where we bring our students overseas. This is one example where students go to Yunnan to help the village in the planning, to help them to create a more sustainable environment for them, to be more connected also. And in terms of career prospects, students can go into statutory board. There are quite a number of the agencies that employ civil engineers. For example, HDB, JTC, LTA, PUB, URA, and there are a lot of consultancy firms and construction firms, both local and global, that employ civil engineers. One common question that we do get is civil engineering suitable for ladies? I'll give you a few examples over here where female civil engineers have been very successful in their career, ranging from their work in engineering design and management in PUB to project management in global construction firm based in Dubai, to policy and planning in the Building and Construction Authority, being a civil and structural engineers in Sentosa Development, and also project management in property and infrastructure MNC. We do have quite a number of scholarship, award, and bursary. We have a bursary that is specially catered for civil engineering students. This is done through the kind donation from our donors. And this year, we have also created awards for incoming students. There are 3 categories of awards, and in each category, there are quite a number of awards that we are giving out. And that is on top of the scholarships that are available. So there are a number of the public agencies, which I mentioned earlier on, that give out scholarship for civil engineering students. And there's also scholarship that are specially administered, given out to civil engineering students in the department, such as the Continental Steel Scholarship, Warhub Scholarship. Lastly, I do hope that you'll join us to build the future, to shape the world. I'll stop my presentation here. We'll be happy to address any of the questions that you have in the Q&A. So if you do have questions, please post it in the Q&A and we'll address those questions.
Thank you, Tsertai. We have highlighted a few questions for you and your team. Please go ahead.
Okay, I will probably start to take the first question. I'll probably get my colleague Justin to answer that. Is there a danger of being pigeonholed into civil engineering due to firms demanding more civil engineers that have masters as opposed to bachelor's degrees? And how can IDP be applied in civil engineering? Justin, please. Sorry.
Hi, Zidai.
Yes.
Yes. Can you
Can
get
you?
your camera on? Yeah.
Could you repeat your question? I was busy answering questions on the chat.
Sorry. I'll just repeat that. Is there a danger of being pigeonholed into civil engineering due to firms demanding more civil engineers that have masters as opposed to bachelor's degrees? And the second part of the question, how can IDP be applied in civil engineering?
So maybe I'm not too sure what what maybe this is the understanding of what a pigeonhole is, but I would say no. I think that what we are offering as a curriculum, this is actually offering us a greater flexibility, even at a master's level. We are able to move between different roles, different aspects within the industry, and even outside the industry as well. So I don't think it's a matter of being a pigeonholed, just by gaining the knowledge in civil engineering. Whereas for IDP, so IDP in civil engineering curriculum, there is quite a number of students. In fact, we do encourage our students to take up the IDP program. It makes a very good complementary program between the two, where students are exposed to not only civil engineering problems, as well as being able to use design thinking to solve the problems that occur in civil engineering.
Good. Thank you, Justin. Since you're on the line, probably I'll get you to answer one more question. Can you share more about the new specialization? I think that is the one that attracts quite a number of students in the recent, or at least last year, we have a lot of students going for that, which is the digitization in urban infrastructure.
So so yeah, newer specialization that we have recently just created within our department. This was actually to address a rising need that we have been observing in the industry. I think gone are the days where when we talk about civil engineers and students have that kind of image where uh, we are involved in cement and mortar and all that kind of thing. Um, Increasingly, we're seeing that a lot of civil engineering is actually moving towards a digital frontier. So this specialization was actually to gear our students to be able to make use of digital technologies. We will make use of sensors, IoT, to be familiar, right, in a digital environment and make decisions based on the kinds of inputs that you're getting from digital tools. So what you're going to be doing in this specialization is that we are introducing a set of very targeted modules that would give our students an edge in terms of how they would deal and how they would manage digital data that's coming to them. Yeah, so we expect that students who come out from this will become specialists in dealing with digital data in a civil engineering environment.
Thank you, Justin. I'll probably take on the next question. Would I still be considered for civil engineering if I have only taken physics at H1 level? Yes, I think the admission criteria for engineering, which also includes civil engineering, are the same. You need to have a minimum of O-level physics, and then you can come in. Depending, if you have a H2, you can proceed without a bridging module. You have H1, you may have to take one or two bridging modules depending on the discipline. Let me just move on to the next one. Sorry, Justin, since I think you're quite enthusiastic to answer some of the questions. What's the difference between civil engineering and a minor in in environmental engineering as compared to just purely environmental engineering?
So it seems I'm the target bot today for today. Well, that's a tough question to answer. I would say it all boils down to a matter of interest. Um, with uh, with it's a difference in terms of the depth of knowledge that you would be able to go into, because um, if you taking a pure environmental engineering, which is a great engineering course, by the way, would give you a lot of insight into how the environmental engineering industry is like. With a civil background, it then gives you, with a civil background taking a minor in environmental engineering, then this gives you a scope in terms of both sides where you can deal in terms of both the design, the digital frontiers in civil engineering, as well as, right, maybe even moving into things like sustainability, climate change, that is common to both civil engineering and environmental engineering. So that would, to me, the difference is more in terms of, whether you're interested in doing a breadth or you're interested in doing a depth in environmental engineering.
Thank you, Justin. I think we do have one interesting question, I think, which is one of the main key selling point, which I'll get Professor Liu to address, is double PE, the PE referring to professional engineers, double PE for CE and ME/EE confirmed with the Professional Engineers Board. Professor Richard Liu, please.
Before we launch this hyper-flexible program, the PE board have been consulted together with the deans of engineering and the department head, discussing the possibility of having a double professions. Now, our major program, for example, in civil engineering, enable you to sit for the PE fundamental examinations. Similarly, in the mechanical engineering, for example, if you finish the major, you're able to sit for PE fundamental exam. So if you choose two majors, for example, you are able to sit for the fundamental exams. This give you the pathway for you to do further registration. To do a registration as a professional engineer in Singapore, you need to have accumulated at least 3 years experience, especially a design experience. Then you allow you to sit for professional interview, and then they grant you the license. So theoretically, yes, it is possible that you can get double registrations.
Another related question which touches on the architecture aspect, which I hope Professor Liu can address. How does civil engineering differ from architecture, since it was mentioned that civil engineers also design buildings?
Yes, civil engineers look more on the safety aspects of the infrastructures of buildings. So it is our responsibility to ensure that whatever you build is safe to construct and then later occupy. Okay, so we are more on safety. All right, so we are doing more like mega structure, big building, all this thing. There's a lot of occupants inside that. We cannot afford to have any error in the design and during the executions. Architect, if you want to go for architecture, a very important aspect is appreciation of art. You need to understand art, and you need to be artistic in doing your design. Of course, they also look at the materials on the sustainability aspect, and then the greenery, for example, aesthetic part of it, how to build it into the design. So architects and engineers actually work together to ensure a building or a project become more livable and more sustainable. This is the area that we are going to go in deeper into it in future.
So in the interest of time, I think we should stop here, and I see that your team has already cleared all the incoming questions. Once again, thank you, Tsadai and Team Civil Engineering. You guys are going nowhere, because the next session that is going to coming up is part of Civil and Environmental Engineering.